Watch and burn.
Hey everyone, so tonight I want to talk about Ty West's newest movie, and that is X. This was released a little while ago. I was fortunate enough to catch this one in theaters. It's a perfect sort of theater movie. Well, actually, wait, any real movie like this is suddenly going to be seen as the perfect theater movie, because otherwise there's all this superhero garbage just being fucking churned out over and over again in a bunch of kids' movies that I'm too old for. So I guess maybe this isn't the perfect theater movie. This is just a perfect theater movie because I'm desperate to find an excuse to go back to the theaters. I've seen this, I've seen Crimes of the Future, I saw Men, and I think they're the three movies that I've seen over the past while, COVID notwithstanding, of course, because I don't care about Doctor Strange and the Metamucil of Madness. So there's nothing else. This movie was a lot of fun. I like how it felt genuinely like it took place back in the 70s. It almost sort of had this Texas Chain Saw vibe going for it. And the performances, of course, were absolutely awesome. Mia Goth is the standout performer here. She plays both one of the victims on the younger side, and she plays the older assailant, Pearl, who I just found out now there was a dual movie called Pearl shot at the same time as X, and it's currently in post-production as we speak in early July 2022. It's supposed to be released at some point soonish. Hopefully that will provide more of a backstory concerning Pearl's character. And Mia Goth did a fantastic job. I couldn't even tell it was her the first time I watched the movie. It took a couple rewatches before I began to piece it together that was Mia Goth. I love the movie. I love the sex scenes. I love how they're not graphic, and yet at the same time they're graphic enough to sort of drive home the 70s porn boom vibe. And I loved the performances of, I loved how all of like the men in the movie, for the most part, they weren't pigs, but they were so like full of themselves because they were involved in the booming porn industry of the 1970s, and they were going to make the next Deep Throat or the Devil and Miss Jones or whatever, and how they sort of have this like attitude of like massive like macho insecurity. Well, wait, I guess I shouldn't categorize it as macho insecurity. Maybe I should categorize it as macho security, because they don't realize this is actually a sign of insecurity. It's more something we've come to realize since. The deaths are fun. I love how self-referencing the end is when the sheriff finds the camera and he asks the head sheriff, "What do you think's on here?" And he says, "Judging by this out here, one fucked up horror movie," which is very clever, and it's like right in your face. And I've loved Ty West for a very long time. I thought The Sacrament was amazing. I said amazing. It was amazing. I absolutely love House of the Devil. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. The House of the Devil somehow managed to sort of blur the line between a theatrical release and a made-for-TV movie without sort of betraying either side of them, because I've seen some really excellent made-for-TV horror movies like The Haunted, and of course we've seen a lot of theatrically released horror movies. And House of the Devil seemed to have kind of, like I said, it blurred the line between both. This movie, on the other hand, there's no made-for-TV-ishness to this. This is 100% like top-notch cinema. If this is what you're looking for, if this type of movie isn't your thing, you're going to find it ridiculously violent, sort of claustrophobic, and gross concerning Pearl's obsession with sex, despite her age, and how she keeps going after the younger girls. And fortunately or unfortunately, it really depends on how you're looking at it, that aspect is never really realized. I imagine they will touch on more of her sexual proclivities in Pearl, because her sex drive was such a massive part of her character in this movie. Like, she always wanted to bang, and her husband couldn't get it up anymore, so she was kind of like sneaking into bed with a couple of the girls who were acting in the movies, and she was kind of getting off on that. And keep in mind that this woman's like 150 years old, so it's really off-putting. But this, I have to say too, this is probably Ty West's most slick-looking film that he's ever done. This, like, all of his movies have a seriously like a heavy professional vibe to them, but there's a slickness to this. There's like, I don't know if it's the color palette he chose or if it's how he chose to shoot it, but there's something about this whole movie seems really sleek and really well defined. I guess I could argue the same thing about The Innkeepers too, even though I didn't really like the end of that movie. But I think I'll leave it there. I've talked for a little over 5 minutes about Ty West's new one, X. So if you like this discussion here about Ty West's newest movie, X, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for making it till the end of the video. I really appreciate it. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.